I want to take everyone back and do a little history lesson. So 1938, we have this guy, Neville Chamberlain, the then Prime Minister of Britain. And in 1938, Chamberlain went to Munich to meet with Adolf Hitler. Fearing the possibility of war, Chamberlain wanted to meet with Hitler to get a bit of a read on his character. And after spending some time together, Chamberlain left thinking that Hitler was trustworthy. He even went so far as to tell England, "I believe it is peace for our time." When World War II started shortly thereafter, Chamberlain looked ridiculous. How did he not see this coming? Was Hitler a master of deception? Was he just a great fool? While most of us aren't judging people that influential, we do judge people all of the time. Every time we meet someone new, we're presented with a bit of a puzzle. Who is this person? What are they like? What do they want? And sometimes, like Chamberlain, we don't do as great a job of solving this puzzle as we think we do. But if we take a step back and look at the mechanisms behind social perception, we can understand why, from a psychological perspective, we make the mistakes that we do and why our interactions with others can go awry. So the first step of social perception is to observe someone's behavior. Humans are incredibly adept at identifying actions. Even when we just see point lights attached to the joints of people's bodies, we can quickly and easily recognize behaviors such as walking. But explaining these behaviors is where things get a bit muddy. So when we try to explain the behaviors of others, we often assume that their behavior accurately reflects their internal personality traits. So the guy that cut in front of you on the way to work was a jerk, and that happy barista that gave you extra whipped cream is just a fundamentally good person. We vastly underestimate the role of someone's situation in shaping their behavior. So maybe the driver was rushing to the hospital. Maybe that barista was just given a raise. Our tendency to attribute behavior to personality traits while downplaying those situational factors is known as the fundamental attribution error. And it's an error because it causes us to overestimate our ability to truly know someone from a short interaction. And observing behavior also leads to another pitfall in our interactions with others. It causes us to mistakenly identify when we're being lied to. So I'm sure it comes as no surprise that people aren't always honest. This may be especially true when we meet new people, as we're often trying to make a good impression, perhaps hiding or stretching the truth about ourselves ever so slightly. This also means we're a little bit wary when we meet someone new, trying to decipher if what they're telling us is entirely the truth. But are we any good at this? Well, the truth is, humans have a truth bias. We're naturally inclined to believe the communication of another person. And from an evolutionary perspective, this makes sense. A truth bias allowed our ancestors to communicate efficiently and trust one another. And assuming honesty is usually correct because most communication is honest. But what this does mean is that when we do try to detect if someone's lying to us, like we so often do when meeting new people, we haven't evolved an accurate mechanism to detect this deception. So when asked how people spot a liar, people tend to say the same things. A liar averts their gaze, fidgets, sweats, appears nervous. Everyone observes behavior. But no behavior systematically related to lying, observing behavior isn't reliably going to distinguish liars from truth tellers. Even people vested in deception detection, like police officers, do an extremely poor job at spotting a liar, just slightly better than chance, and no better than your average college student. And what this means is we may miss when someone is lying to us or see lies even when there are none. The idea that behavior can be used to detect lies is an example of an illusory correlation, which is the phenomenon of perceiving a relationship between variables, in this case behavior and lying, even when no such relationship exists. And illusory correlations are also the foundations of stereotypes. So we may entirely unconsciously notice traits in an individual and connect that trait back as a reflection of an entire group, correlating group membership with a particular trait. And we bring these implicit biases and stereotypes with us to every interaction, and these impact how we expect others to behave and how we interpret their words and reactions. So what does this all accumulate to? Well, it means that we're very bad at judging people from such a small interaction. When a hiring manager tries to select a candidate, they bring with them the fundamental attribution error, their truth bias, and subsequent inability to detect lies, and their stereotyped beliefs to that interaction. The same can be said for you, going on a first date. and for poor old Neville Chamberlain. We're all human, and we all have to interact with new people all of the time, and that's not going to stop. But perhaps during our interactions with others, we can slow down and be willing to accept that people are more complicated than we think. Maybe what we so often see as conflict is actually just misunderstanding, and when our interactions with others do go awry, maybe we don't just fault the stranger. Thank you.